Audiobook Academy Biography presents Jim Thorpe. At the 1912 Olympics, Native American Jim Thorpe won the pentathlon and the decathlon, but his gold medals were taken away because he had broken the criteria for amateur eligibility. Jim Thorpe, an All-American football player at Carlisle Indian School, won the pentathlon and decathlon at the 1912 Summer Olympics before his gold medals were annulled on a technicality. After retiring from professional sports, Thorpe pursued a career in acting. Childhood and education. Near Prague, Oklahoma, Jim Thorpe was born around May 28, 1887. He was given the name Wathohook, which translates to Bright Path in Sac and Fox and Potawatomi Indian, but he was baptized Jacobus Franciscus Thorpe. Excursions across Indian Territory honed Thorpe's famous endurance as an early hunter and trapper. After the early deaths of his twin brother and both parents, his dislike to the classroom was aggravated, and he was frequently absent from the Haskell Institute in Kansas, the local Garden Grove School, and the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania. In the spring of 1907, Thorpe was a student at Carlisle and participated in a track and field practice session on campus. Coach Pop Warner was impressed when he saw him jump over a 5 feet 9 inches bar in his work clothes to break the school record. Thorpe quickly rose to prominence as a track star, but he also excelled in other sports, including baseball, hockey, lacrosse, and ballroom dance, as well. However, it was Thorpe's football prowess that catapulted him to fame. Playing every position on the field for the first time in his career in November 1911 when his team beat top-ranked Harvard, and then again the following year when they destroyed West Point, Thorpe was an all-around star. Thorpe was named to the All-American team twice while playing for Carlisle in the 1911 and 1912 seasons. Olympic achievement and failure. By winning 4 out of the 5 events he competed in at the 1912 Olympic Games in Stockholm, Sweden, Thorpe claimed the gold medal in the pentathlon. Next, he ran away with the decathlon, taking first place in the high jump, 110-meter hurdles, and the 1,500 meters despite wearing the wrong shoes. Thorpe was declared the greatest athlete in the world by Sweden's King Gustav V after finishing the 3-day competition with an impressive 8,412.95 points, out of a possible 10,000. In New York City, Thorpe received a ticker tape parade as part of his hero's return. Yet in the following January, a newspaper reported that in 1909 and 1910, the Olympic champion was paid to play minor league baseball. However, despite Thorpe's handwritten plea to the Amateur Athletic Union, his amateur status was revoked, forcing him to return his gold medals and having his remarkable performance erased from the annals of Olympic history. A career in professional sports. He married his undergraduate girlfriend, Iva Miller, in 1913 and signed with the New York Giants to play professional baseball. Thorpe's 6-year Major League career with the Giants, Cincinnati Reds, and Boston Braves saw him bat just .252 despite a career-high .327 average in his last season, despite his inability to handle the curveball. In the early days of professional football, Thorpe had a considerably greater impact. For $250 a game in 1915, he agreed to join the Canton Bulldogs, who went on to win 3 league championships in 1916, 17, and 19. As a member of the American Professional Football Association, APFA, in 1920, the Bulldogs were one of the 14 teams that formed the National Football League, with Thorpe serving as league president for 1 season. A Native American squad called the Orang Indians coached and played for Thorpe from 1922 to 1923. To keep fans entertained during games, members on the squad performed war dances and other ceremonial routines, thanks to the support of Walter Lingo, the owner of the Orang Dog Kennels in Larue, Ohio. Up to his retirement in 1928, Thorpe had played for the Cleveland Indians, Rock Island Independents, New York Giants, and Chicago Cardinals of the National Football League. Post-athletic career and death. Thorpe, who had already been divorced and remarried to Frida Kirkpatrick, a former Orang Kennels employee, had a rough time after his sporting career ended. A Hollywood career was his goal, and he appeared in more than 60 films between 1931 and 1950, but most of his roles were as cliched American Indian. To support his 7 children from 2 marriages, he worked odd jobs, and his increasing alcoholism led to a second divorce in 1941. Thorpe, despite his hardships, found a sense of purpose in his fight for the people he loved. His goal was to persuade Hollywood studios to cast real Native Americans in leading roles, so he set up his own casting company and lobbied the federal government for the return of the original Sac and Fox land holdings to the tribes. Patricia Gladys Askew became his 3rd and final wife in 1945 when he married her using money from his public speaking career. Towards the end of his life, Thorpe was able to make amends with the public.
Following his selection as America's finest sportsman by the Associated Press in 1950, Burt Lancaster portrayed him in Jim Thorpe, All-American, which was released the following year. A Pennsylvania town called itself Jim Thorpe in honor of Thorpe's death when he died of a heart attack at his trailer home in Lomita, California, on March 28, 1953. Controversy over memorials and burials. As a co-winner of the 1912 track events, Thorpe's name was reinstated to the Olympic record books in 1982. In 1963, he was recognized as a charter member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In 2000, an ABC Sports poll named him the best athlete of the preceding century, while the Associated Press ranked him third in its own ballot. This showed how important he remained to the American psyche. A federal lawsuit was filed by Thorpe's son Jack in 2010 to return his father's remains back to his home state of Oklahoma. An appeals court in 2014 reversed an earlier finding in favor of the family by a federal trial court judge. In the following year, the Supreme Court of the United States declined to hear an additional challenge, keeping Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, as the final resting place of the athlete. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button for more content like this. See you in next video.